Oh yes, it's Friday. That means it's time for Total Sport on BBC Radio Manchester.
Yeah, tonight it's all about Merseyside against Manchester. City hosting Liverpool and United go to Goodison.
So come on, get it off your chest. The number that you need for that is 0800 218 2255.
Total Sport. BBC Radio Manchester.
Well, the Premier League is back with a bang this weekend. It is Manchester versus Merseyside. City hosting Liverpool in the early game tomorrow. But the question everybody wants answering, how many of the Liverpool 11 would actually get into City's starting lineup? That is the question we need answering tonight, Gaz.
I think you had this conversation slightly yesterday.
A little bit.
Look, I would say more than you would say, probably. I have a few names in mind that I think get into it, but there are some obvious ones, aren't there?
Yeah.
Like we all know Haaland's in it. No, there's no Liverpool fan that's going to contest that. There's no City fan that's going to contest Salah being in the team, for example. So let's get into the positions where maybe it is a little bit more contentious tonight.
Yeah, we need the answers like Kyle or Trent at right back. Who's your goalkeeper? Because that's really contentious. Yeah, we're going to go through it, but you can get involved on the show. It's 0800 218 2255. We will talk to a City and a Liverpool fan. I'll start with the blue. It's Rob. Rob, tomorrow it's absolutely huge. Let's pick key positions for this combined 11. Who would your right back be? Would it be Kyle Walker or would it be Trent, and why?
Good evening, you two. How are we?
Very good, my mate.
Evening.
Good. Well, there's only one right back that's got to go in there, and that's Kyle Walker. Simple as. Because he can defend as well as going forward, whereas Trent is good going forward, but he can't defend. And a fullback is supposed to be able to defend as well as go forward, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Right, so let's hear from the Liverpool fan on that. Pete?
Hello.
Who are you having then? Kyle Walker or Trent?
You got me behind enemy lines here, so obviously it's got to be Trent. And I understand a Kyle Walker argument in terms of the defensive side of it, but I don't think that you can win Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues playing as a right back if you can't defend. So that it's obviously a very exaggerated argument, but we found a role for him in our team. He has to play. He has to be on the team sheet. In my opinion, I would put Trent right back. But I understand the argument about Walker. It's definitely one of the closest ones I think we'll have.
To be honest, I don't think City have a decent out-and-out left-back. And I know City don't necessarily play with like traditional fullbacks in that sense, do they? But it's usually probably a Kanji who sort of fills who fills in at that position on the left. I'd try just putting Trent left back if it was me.
Oh no!
I don't.
Oh God!
Well, who else is there?
Pete, we had this conversation today, didn't we? I put Trent there.
I think we see what Klopp's done though. We've made a new role for Trent. So if you want to put the best players in your team, you don't really have a left back, and if you want to put Walker there and put Trent at the left, then maybe because you've got. I'm guessing, I don't want to do any spoilers, but I'm guessing De Bruyne is probably going to be in both teams. So if you've got him passing on the right anyway, you could put Trent in. But if it was a one-off, you have to pick between the two. I'm picking Trent. But if a way to compromise is to put Trent on the left, then that's fine. But we all know Robertson's the best left back here anyway. So there's no even need for debate.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. Yeah. Pete, you mentioned there about that new sort of Trent role that he's had this season, that hybrid full-back role, if you like. Do you reckon that's going to change for the game against City? And do you reckon Klopp will be telling him, we need you to play like a more traditional fullback here so you can deal with, well, if it's Doku, he's going to have a problem, and if it's Grealish, he's going to have a problem?
I don't think we'll change the way we play. I don't think that's the good thing about both these teams and why they're both so good is that, when we do face up against each other, I know Guardiola likes to lose his head a bit and overthink some games, but normally we have a pretty stand-up fight, don't we, really, and play our styles against each other. And if Konate's fit, which is a big one for us, he can fill in really well on that right-hand side anyway. And obviously, it depends who plays defensive mid again. But no, I expect us to play how we always play.
Rob, you were shouting a little bit in the background then. Would you disagree with anything that Pete said?
No. I think Liverpool will play exactly the same way as they always do. Hopefully we will play exactly the way we will play and don't get suckered into like we did against Chelsea last week. and make a game as chaotic as it was last week. Great for the neutrals, yeah, but I was just shaking my head all the way back to the car on the way back, saying that's not a Pep game, that's not a Pep game, that's not a Pep game. And people must have been walking past me thinking, ooh, we got a bit of weirdo here.
Who would your goalkeeper be in this combined 11 then? Because
it's got to be Alisson. It's got to be.
It's really hard.
Yeah, you know. I mean, Rob, go on. You tell us, because I can hear what Pete's saying in the background already.
Well, Pete's going to say Alisson because he's a Liverpool fan, and I'm going to say Eddie because I'm a City fan.
Well, I'm a United fan, and I think Alisson.
Yeah, but Gaz, you've just said something stupid about a fullback or something, but so no, I think Eddie's for the way we play. Eddie's the best goalkeeper in the world for the way we play. For the way United play is not, because United players can't accept fullback, can't accept the ball and stuff like that. Liverpool fans will just obviously say Alisson's because they will.
Yeah, exactly. Last season and the seasons before, Alisson has quite simply been a better. You can't just say no.
I can back it up.
Right, okay.
Why?
Alisson has quite simply been better at shot stopping than Ederson.
That's where you're
also,
wrong.
at the same time, he's been just as good as Ederson when it comes to building out from the back.
Wrong.
When it comes to long balls, go on, tell me why I'm wrong.
You're wrong because I always thought that was his weak point of his game, Ederson. Last season, if you watch him week in, week out, if you watch him week in, week out, he had a redemption arc when it came to his shot stopping.
Yeah,
and if you watch the Champions League final, he got us over. He dragged us over the line in that.
Alisson did all that as well last season.
Did he win the treble?
You just didn't watch. You just didn't watch him.
Did he win the treble for doing it though? Because that's the difference.
He's won Champions Leagues in the past.
Yeah, but he's
won all those trophies anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
don't worry.
Yeah, but
The thing is, if there was ever a team where it was Alisson versus Ederson and some other third-party manager had to Brazil, who starts for them? Alisson. So that's the debate sorted. Alisson's the goalkeeper.
Ederson doesn't play for Brazil.
Yeah,
Alisson's the starting goalkeeper. Ederson come in the last couple of games, I know, but Alisson 90% of the time is the starting goalkeeper for Brazil, which I think says a lot.
0800
218
0800 218 2255 if you want your say on all things City, Liverpool or anything Greater Manchester sport. We've got Yanni joining the conversation now. We are discussing Ederson or Alisson in our combined 11 ahead of the game tomorrow. Yanni, where do you stand on that and why?
It's a tough one. I think you'll make pretty good points, and I think in terms of a shot stopper, you'd normally say Alisson was quite clear, but as you said, I think the redemption arc last season. I think, to be honest, since Ortega's come in, Ederson's shot stopping's got miles better, and obviously the Champions League finals kind of stepping up and doing it on a big stage. I mean, any team would be lucky to have either keeper, but I think for if it was in City's team, I'd prefer Ederson just because of the build-up and how cool he is on the ball.
Yanni, do you think we're talking about the two best goalkeepers in the world?
Yeah. Along with Courtois, yeah, I'd say so.
No, I'd go along with it as well. Yeah. I can't really disagree with it. I mean, Rob, how important is it having this sort of modern goalkeeper in these top teams? Do you need a goalkeeper like this in order to be successful at the top?
Well, obviously yes, because we've just won the treble, but I mean obviously it's not obviously all down to him. Well, yeah, because it's a team game, and if you've got a weak keeper, you're not going to win things. You've got, no matter how good you are, like you say, if I know his shots ratio is not as good as Alisson's, but we don't concede that many shots anyway. So that's what I'm saying. When we do concede them, he saves them. So it's yes, we do. You do need a good goalkeeper, really do, and we need him for our build up play.
Yeah, who though are the two centre backs?
Here we go.
This is a tough one. Pete,
here we go.
Let's go to Pete first.
Okay, well, surely we can all agree that Van Dijk is, if not the best of all of them, he's in the top two, and Van Dijk has to be in there. You watch City more than me, I'm guessing. So I know before when we picked our teams, I said Akanji. I'm happy if you want to argue Diaz over him or whatever you want to do. The reason I didn't pick Diaz is I think, I said that pen against Chelsea, and it was the perfect example of how he can lose his head a bit. He's diving in, added time, makes it 4-4 if he just stands on his feet. Brocha doesn't score. I think Van Dijk's clearly the best. From what I've seen, which isn't as much as you, I'd put Akanji alongside him.
Wow, Akanji?
Nope. Okay. No, but Van Dijk's in there. You could pick the other one.
Yeah, but Akanji...
Oh, cheers.
Can I just say as well, basing Ruben Diaz off 90 minutes?
Nah,
not for me.
No. If we go on current form, Van Dijk's the best defender in the league, and Diaz is just coming off a big mistake, which cost you, which you would have been further ahead and probably more happy with going in a bit more defensive on Saturday or not too much having to chase to win. I think because of how he acted in your last game, which is a massive game, Chelsea away, if you get all 3 points there, then that can really help you in a title run. So I think that's a big mistake to make, and therefore I don't think Diaz should be in there. But as I say, you watch them more than me. I'm not too bothered. I think Van Dijk's the best of the lot, and the other one's up to you.
Okay, well, fair enough. Surely the other one, in my opinion, the other one has to be John Stones then, because I think
correct.
I think John Stones is absolutely one of the best centre backs in the world, particularly in modern day football. In
his new role
I totally agree with Pete in terms of Van Dijk having to be in the team as well, though. For me, it's Stones and Van Dijk, easy. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you for once. I agree with you for once. I know.
Pigs fly.
That hurts. That hurts saying that. But I agree with you once. I would pick Van Dijk and Stones. Because Stones is absolutely fantastic going into the role that we have him playing now. So,
but is he an out-and-out centre-back in this new role? Is what I'd say. If he's playing in a Klopp team where he is at the back, is he playing out-and-out centre-back, or is he more dropping forward?
That's the same as the goalkeeper, isn't it? As well, same situation as the goal. But he can play an out-and-out centre-back as well. So it's just
well, we've agreed here, so I reckon it's not going to happen often. I reckon we can lock it in.
Right, now, just watch now. Yanni's going to throw a spanner in the works, isn't he? Come on, Yanni, who do you have?
I don't see how Diaz don't get in, to be honest. While it's true the Chelsea game was one thing, it's too short of a sample in the sense that he's made 0 mistakes leading to goal, ever in his career, at City, until that game. It's just a safe pair of hands. I agree with Van Dijk. Van Dijk's class, proper defender.
I'm sorry, but Ruben Diaz has made no mistakes leading to goals.
Not leading directly to goal. No, it was
Do you not remember that Tottenham game? The Tottenham game where he totally lost his head and he had a terrible game, and Manchester City lost the game like they do quite often.
What game are you referring to?
Against Tottenham.
Which one?
I can't remember. My memory's not that great.
You can't just throw something out and not be specific.
I'm just saying, Ruben Diaz has mistakes in him. That's what I'm saying.
Van Dijk has. I've seen Van Dijk slip up a couple of times.
Van Dijk has mistakes in him, but I also think Van Dijk has more of a target on his head. When Van Dijk makes a mistake, everyone on football Twitter, for example, just wants to fully go two-footed into him, so to speak. I think Ruben Diaz...
Never thought I'd agree with the United fan.
I think Ruben Diaz kind of takes his eye off the ball quite often. In fact, we've seen him coming in and out of the City team at times.
Well, Yanni, what do you think of that? Because you're actually not going with John Stones either.
I mean, at this point, you have to argue is he a centre back. I love John Stones. Don't get me wrong. I'd probably play him a bit further forward in that new role. If you're to do a combined team, to be honest with you. But no, it's a hard one. I mean, all three are great picks, to be honest. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. But I don't know. I just think Diaz has just got that sort of mentality leading from the back, and you look at the big games, especially I remember that PSG in the Champions League. It's just one of the top performances I've ever seen. And obviously everyone's going to make mistakes, but I think it's a safe pair of hands.
There's another big question that we need answering, right? So I'm assuming that in the front three, you're going to go with Haaland and Salah, because I think you'd be absolutely bonkers if you didn't. But who is the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle up top? Rob?
Foden.
Simple.
Foden, simple.
See,
I'll be playing.
Well, I really rate Phil Foden, and I do massively. The problem is with Phil Foden is he's good in different positions, whereas I sort of think on that wing position, I kind of think that at the moment, Jack Grealish, Doku and Diaz are more effective than Phil Foden in that position. So I'd almost put 3 players ahead of Foden in that position, Rob, personally.
Well, I don't.
If Guardiola doesn't trust him to start, then that says a lot. I think he's in and out, as you say. You can't be too good to play in every position that you don't play in any of them. I don't think he hasn't stamped his mark in any position, has he? I think
he has this year.
I'm afraid he's a bad player. Okay, yeah. Well, I think he's definitely got a lot of talent, and I wouldn't argue against him being a very good player. But I just don't think he gets in this team at this time.
Pete, who would you go with?
Well, in the context of the rest of the team that I pick, because I think you may also pick this player, but in midfield, I've said Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
In the fact, I know he doesn't always play out wide, but from when I had the 10 players and one player left, I thought he was the best player who wasn't in the squad. And with the quality of players, because let's be honest here, we're picking from 22 of the best players in England and probably in Europe, aren't we? So I think just to have him in there, you can work around him. I think if you've got a Trent overlapping, you've got a De Bruyne who's passing the ball, you've got Salah and Haaland already causing enough threat up front. I think there's place to put him in the team and let him link with the midfield.
Surprised you've not backed Diaz there, Pete.
Well, I know. It hasn't been his best season. Obviously, he's had quite a lot of stuff going on off the pitch, as we all know, and you can't always use that against him. But in terms of his numbers, before he got injured, horrible knee injury against Arsenal, he was flying. He hasn't quite got back to that form yet, but obviously it's going to take him a bit of time. And then, she said, with what happened with his dad, that definitely hasn't helped him settle into this season at all. But I'm hoping now he can kick on. But I think right now, because of how good Silva is, and he wasn't in my team otherwise, that's why.
Yanni, who would you pick?
Yeah, Bernardo for me as well. He's just what a player. Like he's a bit like a Swiss Army knife at times. Like you can just put him anywhere and he'll do a job. And the work rate and just the way he turns and the way he moves on the ball, it's just ridiculous. And I think just for keeping the ball and the type of, he'd fit into either team quite well. I think with the way they play. And there's just nothing he can't do. He likes a clutch goal. And he's just reliable week in and week out. Obviously, Foden's a good shout as well, but as you said, he's not always nailed to start, whereas Bernardo, I think, is just one of the first names on the team sheet for me.
I'm shocked. Are you shocked, guys, at Grealish or Doku not getting any shouts?
Well, I thought that they get the shout because I'd say that Jeremy Doku's probably the most informed winger in the Premier League. I'm trying to think. Well, if Mo Salah and Jeremy Doku, you'd probably say are up there in current form. But obviously, he's not done it for long enough yet for me to put him in this team. For me, it's Grealish. Just. I think Diaz is up there, and you know what, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. I'd love to find a place for them in this team, but as they've just been described by Yanni then, Swiss Army knife, yeah, that's totally spot on. But when you're doing a combined 11, it often doesn't lend itself to players who can fit really well in multiple different positions.
Put Bernardo in your midfield, I would.
Yeah.
Bernardo's a top player.
Well done.
You cannot not play Bernardo because he loves playing against Liverpool. Oh, he loves it. Yeah, but what a debate. We could debate this for hours. Get in touch, 0800 218 2255 if you agree, or even better, if you disagree with any of the shouts so far on tonight's totals. But coming up, we will have more City-Liverpool chat. It is on the way, but first...
Sport, Gaz and M with you till 7 on BBC Radio Manchester. We're talking City Liverpool. I've got a stat for you which you may have seen knocking about on social media today.
Hit me with it.
Manchester City have not beaten Liverpool in consecutive league fixtures since 1937. That's staggering.
I will take your stat and I will up it by saying that City can equal the best ever home consecutive wins on the run tomorrow. It's a Sunderland record with 24 wins on the bounce if they should beat Liverpool.
Wow, I just couldn't believe that 1937, it don't really matter how good or bad either team has been in that period. How have you not beaten them consecutively in that period? It's crazy.
What stands us in good stead is that Liverpool have only won once since 2015 in the league at the Etihad Stadium. So, wow. We've still got Rob, Pete and Yanni with us. We have just been talking combined 11s, but I want to have a chat now about the managers.
Oh, here we go.
Pep versus Klopp. Who's the better manager and why?
Yanni, what you saying?
It's just going to be Pep, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, debate over. See you later, guys. Have a good evening. Enjoy your Friday night. Go on, Yanni, tell me why.
He's just done it in multiple teams. I think, even aside from City, I think Pep's Barca is the best team I've ever seen. With that Messi team, and when they won the Champions League.
Yeah, but you've just said it there, though, Yanni, haven't you? You've just said it there, that Messi team.
Yeah, but all of it was just the way they played football. And I think what he's done to change the game, and I don't think any manager's had the impact he's had. And when you're seeing teams like Brighton and even Burnley trying to play out from the back, like in the Premier League, and just the sustained dominance over the last, since he joined in the league, and I think to win as many titles and then 3 in a row, I don't know how you could choose Klopp over him.
Let's go to Pete, the Liverpool fan now. Pete, where do you stand with this then?
Well, listen, there's no wrong answer, is what I'd say. About my answer is Jurgen Klopp on the basis that he's actually made teams better. I think, Guardiola took over. I'm pretty sure you're a Champions League team with a lot of money being spent, and we won't go too much into money, but that's all he's all ever really done. Obviously, Bayern Munich, I think they're known as FC Hollywood, and in Germany, which says a lot. City just buy whoever they want. If it doesn't work for 6 months, you go and buy someone else for 50 mil, who cares? And then the Barcelona team, as you said, I think I could have managed them to win the Champions League. Half of them were from the academy. They have some of the best players that have ever played the game. And, as I say, I think anyone could have managed them to success. I'm not saying Guardiola isn't good. Guardiola is a very good manager, but he didn't invent passing. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal, I'm pretty sure, used to pass the ball as well, and people passed the ball out from the back. He used to watch Liverpool in the 70s, 80s, love passing the ball. He's a very good manager, but I think he actually has to put his money where his mouth is, in the sense of go and make a team better. Klopp had Dortmund, hadn't won the league in forever, not a very good side. He goes and takes them, they're in the European Cup final, win the league back to back. He's done it with us. Our team when he took over were terrible. We had the likes of Moreno, Mignolet. If you look at his starting sides that he ever took over, it's chalk and cheese on where we are now, and that's because he's a great manager.
Louis, I've got to bring Louis into the conversation at that point, because Louis, Pete, the Liverpool fans, just said that he could have coached the team at Barcelona to success, that Pep didn't invent the art of passing the football. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, first of all, the thing I'd say is I think they're both fantastic managers, and I think everybody would agree that. But when we're talking about who's got the edge, what I would say is Klopp has revolutionised Liverpool, hasn't he? And he revolutionised Dortmund. There's no doubt about that. But Pep has revolutionised football. So he revolutionised City. He's revolutionised the game. And not only has he revolutionised the game, he's backed it up with success consistently. He's done things in the Premier League that have not, they've not been done before, not been done very rarely. What's that?
I was just going to say careful. He's not done it. Yeah, right, okay, right. What do you get for 100 points?
Domestic treble.
Yeah, well done.
The league.
And the treble that you like to remind us, Gaz, was the original treble.
Yeah.
Which we kind of went a step ahead and we won it as champions.
Well, let's wait and see.
But what you've got to say is,
I'm just saying, let's wait and see.
So I guess my point, Gaz, is that Pep is bigger than City, and it's bigger than the Premier League. Is revolutionised football. So when you talk about who's a better coach, everybody wants to imitate him. Everybody if you think about the Joe Hart situation, and you think about keepers like David De Gea. Now, David De Gea, I think, is a top-class goalkeeper, but he was unfortunate to be sort of 5 years before Pep came to England and 5 years after. The game completely changed. Pep revolutionised it, and unfortunately for goalies like David De Gea, who were kind of no good with their feet, or you weren't exceptional with your feet, you got left behind. And you think about Pep was the first one in there bringing Ederson in, and he obviously tried it with Claudio Bravo as well, but didn't quite make the cut. And then obviously after that, Mr. Klopp comes along with Alisson, who's a fantastic goalkeeper, but you can see that he's tried to imitate Pep's style by getting that goalkeeper that can play out from the back.
Come on,
so
Louis.
Hang on a minute. Why are you smirking about that? Because Ederson was
in goal.
Who was Liverpool's goalkeeper before Alisson?
Loris Karius.
Mignolet. Simon Mignolet.
No, it was Loris Karius. Kiev, before we signed him, was Loris Karius, so he then threw 2 goals away and we replaced the goalkeeper, and then the next season won the league. So I don't think that was a mad signing to go and make the player who cost us winning the European Cup to then go and sign one of the best keepers who we also played against in the Champions League in the semi-final. That wasn't Klopp going, Guardiola's thought, let's buy a good keeper, so I'll do the same.
I'm not so sure, mate. I'm not so sure. If Alisson had come before Edison, I might be inclined to agree with you, mate. But Pep just seems to be light years ahead. He's light years ahead of all the others, and the others just seem to follow. Although what I would say is Klopp, in his defence, he has got his own unique style. He's got his own pressing type of football, and I admire that, and I love the way he sticks to it. But I guess, in summary, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think 2 excellent managers with 2 excellent football teams and philosophies with their own identity. I love it, and I can watch Liverpool, no problem. Great team to watch. City are as good, better, but they just back it up with more trophies.
Yep, that's fair. That's fine.
There we go. Wow. We reach an agreement. I cannot believe it, Gaz. There is a slight agreement there.
Slight agreement, yeah. Not quite running through all the callers, I don't think. I do
3 in a row.
Right, okay. Well,
there we go.
Yeah, exactly, and all right then, 3 in a row. I'm not saying that anyone's better than anyone here, but I'm just
treble.
Saying... Fergie did that. Fergie did 3 in a row as well.
Domestic treble.
Right, okay. The domestic treble is better than the actual treble?
No. Right, no, but add it all together. It's decent. It's not a bad return. 100 points.
Yeah.
You'll be stripped of half of them in a few years anyway.
Exactly.
It's such a boring argument.
It's not a boring argument. It's completely relevant.
It's the only thing you've got.
You've won the treble.
It's the only thing you've got to go off.
And it's a big thing.
I cannot wait.
But we're not talking about that, are we? We're talking about who's the best coach.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can only work with. You can only.
I know. If we all had unlimited money and we could all cheat, we'd all win the league. So it's fine.
Nothing's been proved.
Charged.
Nothing at all. It's completely unproven.
So, just to my Liverpool friend there. So, just to let's if Pep was in charge of Liverpool, right? Would he have won trophies?
Well, it depends if Klopp's at City. But no, I think obviously he's a great manager. As we said, they're very good. Obviously, as we've said, there's no wrong answer. If Guardiola's with us, then he probably does win, but he might not have been able to because our purse strings are a bit tighter, mate. And I haven't seen him have that restriction on himself where he hasn't been able to freely spend. But I expect that no matter what team he go to, he would win. But he hasn't quite had that had that on his CV.
Yeah, well, it's not. We've learned from United. I mean,
that's it.
City and Liverpool fans, we're kind of, I think we have a mutual disrespect of United. So that's common ground we can build on. But it's not just about the money, is it? It's about how you spend the money. And so, what you can say about City is they've spent the money really well. And United have chucked it in the bin. I have massive respect for Klopp. I want to say that I have massive respect for Klopp. I think he's fantastic. I like him as a human being. I think he's a great man management, and I think his teams are great to watch. But he's just not quite as good as Pep.
Look, we're never all going to agree 100% on this, are we? But Rob, Pete, Yanni, and Louis, thank you all so much for coming on Total Sport this evening and having that debate with us. Look, it's going to be a debate that rages on, but it's also a debate around one of the, in my opinion, most cringeworthy rivalries in modern football.
It's not even a rivalry.
No, I'm sick of it, right? You had back in the day, you had Arsene Wenger and Fergie going at each other in press conferences. You had Sir Alex Ferguson. Everyone's going to involve Sir Alex Ferguson here. You know what I mean? These were proper rivalries where you felt like they really hated each other. And now in press conferences, you've got Pep saying, "Oh, Klopp's a brilliant manager. They're a great team," and then Klopp saying the same thing about Pep.
But then on match
Makes
day,
me sick.
No, then it's fireworks on the touchline.
Makes me sick.
When it really matters, there are absolute fireworks on that touchline. But if you want to have your say, get in touch on Total Sport. It's 0800 218 2255.
Okay, before we go over to talk Manchester United, because of course United are in action against Everton